Boom, we are back with another edition of the Quarantinecast. This is episode 112, which is crazy to think about that it's been this many episodes. Really excited for this one. I set my alarm early. I'm speaking with one of the brightest prospects in all of Canadian MMA, and Xavier Alaoui. He's joining me from overseas. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him in. Hey, man, how you doing?
What's up, man? I'm good. And you?
Pretty good. So I don't know if you heard that intro, but one of the brightest prospects in Canadian MMA. How does that feel?
It feels good, bro. Sounds good. But you know what? I think I've been having that status for too long, man. I don't think I'm a prospect anymore.
I like it. Well, one of the best guys outside of the UFC for sure, along with Elias Theodoru and Josh Hill, in my opinion. So what's life like over there, man? Crazy times right now in the world. So what's it like over there?
Oh, tell me about it. Crazy times. I just heard also that the show will be the first one. Well, it'll be the first show with fans if they get vaccinated, which is also pretty crazy. Life here, man, everything's open. We go to restaurants every day. We eat. We train. The gyms are open. I mean, you got to wear a mask outside all the time, like even outside. But apart from that, man, I can't complain, man. I'm happy to be here, honestly.
How does it feel knowing that? I mean, obviously, so much attention's been drawn right now with COVID restrictions and whatnot. But as someone who competes and is an athlete, and health is your number one priority, does it make you a little nervous knowing that there's fans in the arena?
To be honest, man, we're not going to be in contact with the fans, so. I'm more like nervous. I don't know. Are they going to ask the fighters to get vaccinated? But I don't think so, because it could put us at risk, right, of developing COVID. Because, yeah. I mean, a vaccine means that you're getting COVID injected in you. So, no, I'm not really nervous, man. I'm training my ass off, you know. I'm being careful wearing a mask, disinfecting my hands, not touching my mouth, basic rules, hygiene 101. And apart from that, no, that's it. Honestly, I was more stressed when I was in Canada I don't know, it might be an illusion, but I feel like I'm already right next to the venue and everything, so it's fine.
How do you feel just a few weeks out? I mean, speaking for myself, over the pandemic, my training went down to pretty much nothing. So how does it obviously you had that fight last month, but how are you feeling just a few weeks out?
Man, I'm feeling great, bro. I think I'm in probably one of the best shapes I've been in my life, if not the best shape. Just today, I hit the lowest weight I could hit, and I went to eat, refuel, train tonight again. Weight cut is good. Everything's fine. I'm 18 days out, man. I can't wait to put my hands on this guy. Honestly, I'm with Jeff Chan over here, and we're just training every day. It's like, I don't know if you've seen Dragon Ball Z. I feel like we're in the chamber of time, Every day we're just training. We're getting better. I swear this guy's working some pads with me, and I'm like getting new tricks, new slick tools, and I can't wait to use it and demonstrate it,
You've got a big fight, first title fight. What's your thoughts on him as an opponent? It was obviously supposed to happen previously.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that, the extra bit of time and that almost tune-up fight for him is going to benefit you?
Well, you know what? I think he got an extra 2 months without getting his ass whooped, honestly, man. I think that he saved himself from a badass beating for 2 months, but it's inevitable, man. I'm going to catch him, and I'm going to beat the fuck out of him. I think the guy is athletic. He's explosive. Skill-wise, I've seen better. I fought better. I train with better guys on the daily, but you know what? It's MMA. Anything can happen, right? But I'm going in there confident, man. I'm ready to deliver, pressure this guy, put him in deep water, show him what he's never seen before,
When you fought Taksim Zabatov instead, what was it like having an opponent change? You prepare for one guy, and then next thing you know, you've got another guy who's undefeated. I think he was undefeated at the time.
Yeah.
So what's it like to have that opponent change?
So basically, I mean, I've been in a messed up situation. I mean, I fought in Latvia where the guy didn't even show up to the weigh-in and showed up to the fight. So like, I've seen a lot of shit already fighting. But for example, I'm fighting this guy. So I get ready. I do my 8 weeks for Juares. I finish my camp. Last sparring of camp. I just finished sparring. I go look at my phone. I'm just about to check the time, and I get a message from my manager, that Danny Rubinstein, and he tells me the guy's out of the fight. Imagine, man, that's one day before taking the flight, and so I'm like freaking bummed out. Then he sends me names of guys. He sends me. I said yeah to every single guy. He sent me a Shamil Magomedov. I said yeah, but for some reason the guy didn't take it. Then he sends me Taksim Zabitov. I say yeah, and he takes it. And then they tell me that the fight's at 140 instead of 135. The guy's undefeated. He's a wrestler. He's a pancration champion out in Kazakhstan, and he wrestles much more than the other guy. Completely different approach, different fight. But you know what? I use my experience, and I just adapted. I mean, it's a fight. I always say that to the guys that I train with, or that I coach, or whatever it is. Like, people over dramatize that. They think like, oh man, I need to be ready. Yeah, of course you need to be ready, but it's a fucking fight. If you're, you feel me? If you're, let's say you're at McDonald's, you're drunk, you just finished partying, it's 3 a.m, you're with your girl. I always use that example. Guys that know me know I always use that example. And the guy touches your girl's ass. What are you gonna tell him? You need 8 weeks? You need to make the weight? Hell no, bro. You're gonna throw down right away. So it's a fight. It's nothing more, nothing less. Now what I like is that it's 25 minutes. So I made sure to be in top physical shape, top condition, to actually push the pace for 25 minutes. But I think I'm going to finish this guy early, man.
That was my next point. It is for a title. Do you find that there's any added pressure knowing that there's a title at stake and it's an extra 2 rounds?
Added excitement, bro. To be honest, I've been like, bro, this sport is a roller coaster all the time. I've only lost split decisions. Like, most of these fights, I feel like I won them, and so to be here and fight for a title, I feel freaking blessed. I always wanted to be world champion. I always wanted to get a belt, and there we go. It's like unreal. I was telling Jeff, I was walking back home, back to the hotel 2 nights ago, and like, dude, like I'm not like spiritual. Like, I'm spiritual, but I'm not like a spiritual guy that's like, oh, it's 11/11 and shit like that. But it was 11/11, so I always make a small wish, and I was like, man, 11/11. And when I made my wish, and it's always the same one, I realized it was right there. It's 2 weeks out, and it's time to get it. You know what I mean? I'm excited, man. It's not nervous. It's no pressure. It's just freaking happy, freaking excited that I get to fight in front of the whole world and get that belt.
I want to talk about those 3 losses. Like you said, they were all splits and majority decisions. Is it a bit bittersweet knowing that, like, really I'm losing these fights this close? Like, it's not like I'm getting TKO'd or submitted. And is it a little bit bittersweet when you see them go on and string together some victories and you're there like, I was this close?
Well, you know what? I'm happy for whoever wins. I'm not a bitter guy about winning or losing. But I mean, a split decision, yeah, it's the worst freaking thing, man. It's the fucking worst thing. Bro, I beat Josh Hill. Most people think so. Some people don't think so. His friends don't think so. But, bro, I beat him. This guy was running after round 1, he was running 2 and 3. Had to chase him around the cage. He tried, the only thing he tried to do was to pin me up on the cage. Then after this guy Scrivers, I beat the fuck out of him for 3 rounds, and then the ref gives it to him. And then the closest one was with Shamil, I mean, this one could have been a draw. Like, 2 judges gave it a draw. 2 judges gave it to him, and 1 gave it to me. There was 5 judges. That's why they said a majority. That one was a tight one, I mean, it really could have went either way. But come on, Hill and Scrivers, bro, they know what's up. These guys, deep down inside of them, they know what's up. And it's freaking bitter, man, to lose a split decision. It's the worst thing. And I mean, at some point, it even made me question if I wanted to do this sport anymore. I was like, dude, I'm busting my ass. I go out there, I put on a show. I'm fighting like some top level competition. Yeah, these guys are top level fighters, And then I just get robbed because some judge has a subjective, like, from a subjective standpoint, this guy thinks that I lost. Get the fuck out of here, man. It was really frustrating. But then I guess it made me more mean. It made me more violent, I think.
Yeah, it's and you said, I mean, there was 3 and 4 fights, 3 split losses in 4 fights. But it really, like you said, it made you more violent because your next 2 fights, you went out there and finished them early.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that point that you made, though, that you questioned it. And do you think that there's like, I'm sure there's so many fighters who have lost split decisions like that, and it made them go and be like, you know what, this sport isn't for me. What do you think would be the solution to fix that? You know, those split decisions. Do you think it's more judges? What do you think the correct solution would be?
Well, for me, in terms of solution, it was my mindset. I mean, I I had to get kind of like, well, I mean, I always had my life together, but I had to really not depend on fighting, because if you depend on fighting, then you go in that fight with so much you're questioning. Like, I need the bonus, I need the win bonus, I need this. Oh, UFC is gonna call me after all this kind of crap, that like doesn't make you perform the way you should be performing. And I'm good, bro. Like I tell I got my gym, I got my properties, I got my girl. Bro, like I go in there because I just want to scrap. Now I don't go in there because I'm expecting something. I go in there with zero expectation. I just want to beat that dude up. That's all it is, honestly. And it just makes it so much more simple.
I want to talk about the decision to sign with an organization overseas. You mentioned the UFC, the Bellators, and all that stuff. They tend to focus on people who, compete locally rather than abroad. So, what went behind that decision? I mean, you had a nice camp set up there at TriStar. You're training with Firas Zahabi, one of the best coaches, one of the best gyms in the world, and you made the choice to go and compete overseas. What went behind that decision?
Yeah, you mean for UAE Warriors, or you mean for
Yeah.
most of my past fights?
Yeah, no, UAE Warriors.
Yeah. Oh well, you know what? That was Rubinstein, Ruby's Entertainment, Sports and Entertainment, my new management. So I never had a management, honestly, and until my last fight, I decided, you know what, it's time to get a management to actually get somebody to do things right, and it sounds so cheesy, but it makes the whole difference. I swear to God. Like, if I could have an advice for fighters, if they're good, get a management, because the manager is actually like, he's going to find the right opportunities for you. And like it or not, MMA is a game of who knows who. Like, I'm telling you, most of these dudes in the UFC, I'd smoke them. But because their manager knows someone or knows this guy or this guy, they get signed. So you need to have a guy that has the right connections to get you far in the sport. It's like hockey. We're Canadian, right? We know about hockey. Well, hockey's the same. You want to be in the NHL, well, you need to. It's usually the coach's son or like a hockey player's son. You need to. Who knows who? That's what it is.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Danny Rubinstein. I spoke with Sasha Palatnikov, who
I was
told
just
me
with
to
this dude last show. Yeah.
he told me to say hi to you because I told him that I was talking to you today.
Cool.
And he same sort of thing. I mean, he just signed with Rubinstein, and 2 days later, he's fighting in the UFC. Do you think that that decision can help you ultimately get to the UFC?
Yeah, I got like I told guys previously. Danny got me an offer for the UFC at 145, and at the time, right after my last fight, I said yes. But the opponent, I don't think he took it. He took someone else. And no, honestly, he's fucking good. Look, I just signed with them like 3 months ago. I'm fighting for a world title, and like, he'll have many more opportunities after. So yeah, I mean, I don't even want to think too much about it. I'm pretty sure it's bound to come. I'm fighting my ass off. I'm putting on a show for everybody, but I really want to focus on the task at hand, which is November 27th. I want to make a statement. I want to show all these guys what's up. I want to show that dude that I'm not a bump in the road like his coach is saying. I'm a fucking traffic stop, bro. I'm a Brazilian hijack. I'm gonna take the car, So I can't wait.
I want to talk a little bit about Canadian MMA. I'm obviously from Nova Scotia, so I'm very high on Canadian MMA. I'm close with the guys at FLA. What do you think the future is for Canadian MMA? You're seeing guys like TJ Laramie just got a shot, Tanner Bozer, who was a hype train until this past week.
I love Tanner. Tanner's a bad motherfucker, bro. Tanner is a bad man. I remember seeing this dude. When ACA came to Montreal, and so I was I was part of a bit of the reason why ACA came to Montreal in terms of connections, and we got them the show in Montreal and everything. And when they wanted a heavyweight, we knew it was Tanner that had to take the spot, And I saw this dude warming up in the bag, so gritty with his mullet, bro. I saw him warm up and then beat the fuck out of the guy. No, he's a great guy. He's a good fighter. And then you see him in the UFC, how in shape he got. The guy works hard, man. He works definitely hard.
He defeats the stereotype. You know, us Canadians are known to be good people, nice and friendly, and then this guy's out here.
He's a bad man. And in terms of Canadian MMA, man, I think we got some great prospects. We got some really good guys, good fighters also on the international scene. The problem, though, is probably the lack of activity in terms of shows in Canada. Because I know, for example, like I can speak from Quebec, the province of Quebec. Like, there's never really been anything. Like, when there was something, it was TKO, and it's hard for guys to actually come up when they got to fight amateur all the time. You can't rack up a record of like 15 amateur fights. It's way too much. You know what I mean? When you see in the world some guys that get 3-4 amateur fights go pro right away. In my opinion, that's how it should be. Like, we should have many pro shows that allow the guys to actually fight at a pro level and build up a record fighting pro and getting the proper experience. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's it. You're from Nova Scotia, so you know Jericho.
McKee or whatever.
Yeah. Jericho,
yeah, I don't know him personally. I know who he is though. But.
Okay, cool, man. That's my boy. Trying to try start with us.
Yeah. So you mentioned a long, extensive MMA career. Or amateur career. Sorry, you went 11-1, which would, if you look at that, that's 22.
Too much. That's too much, bro.
Wins. Yeah. So do you think that the I guess the recipe and advice for up and coming fighters is take less fights, less amateur fights, go pro sooner?
Yeah, of course. Like, that's like, not everybody thinks like me, but a fight is a fight, you know. Like, you end up with a guy in front of you. I mean, if you're ready, like you're training properly, you shouldn't have to rack up over 10, nowhere close to 10 amateur fights. Get 5 or 6, like, depending on your results, of course. But if you're 5-0 amateur, 6-0 amateur, you're ready to go pro, in my opinion, you know.
All right, I'll ask you a couple more, and then I'll let you go back to your mental state before this fight. What is it? I love your nickname, the Bread Man. Where does that come from?
That's the guys from that's friends of mine, you know, from when I grew up, because yeah, man, fighting doesn't pay, you know. You gotta get your life going, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, all right. I like the mystery behind it. And lastly, for people who maybe haven't seen you, strictly UFC fans, most of the people who watch this are only UFC fans. So what is, I guess, describe your fighting style and what can they expect from you?
Yeah, man, I'm a boxer, jiu-jitsu guy that can wrestle. You know, I like to box, I like to wrestle, I like to do jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'd like to take the fight wherever the guy's uncomfortable. Sometimes, depending, you know what I mean? Some fights you can see me with great IQ. Some other fights a little less, depending on how the fight goes. I like to throw down, you know. Of course, I like to throw down, but yeah, I like to bring the guy in wherever he's not comfortable. So you'll see me fight different styles often.
All right, man. I really appreciate the time. The time difference is ridiculous. So I'm glad we were able to get this thing sorted out. I appreciate it, and can't wait to watch you fight, man. All the best.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, and shout out to Quarantine Podcast, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, and all the best, and stay safe.
Great. Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
All right, there you have it. Xavier Alaoui. I've been a fan of his for a little while now. One of the, like you said, no longer a prospect, but one of the brightest Canadian fighters outside of the UFC. Look forward to that fight on November 27th. And if you haven't yet, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video and all other videos. Man, I'll see you guys later.